All right, folks, I think if we prolong it, it'll be a detriment to the rest of the conference. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Marek Nikolič. He's a PhD candidate working under our previous speaker, Dr. Tomáš Paleníček. And Mr. Nikolič is interested in how computational methods can explain and describe brain activity. So please give a warm welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the warm welcome. And yeah, it's a great pleasure to share this platform with all the other amazing speakers here. So thanks for that. And without further ado, this is working. So we have a research question. What is the research question here? And the real research question is, how much fun can you have doing a PhD under Tomáš Paleníček? And how psychedelics work differently in natural setting. And this is kind of the cycle. We observe practices in the nature. We see people taking drugs at festivals, and we think, well, maybe it's doing something good for them, right? So that's the pre-science. Like some people say, man, I've really done microdosing. It was great for me. You should do it too. And we start studying it. So it brings to the science. Then we do some models. We bring people into the lab, and we put electrodes on them, we make them sit in a sterile room, and then that's our model. And the model is not really meeting with the reality, right? So the model, there's a crisis, and then a revolution, and we start thinking we need to do things differently. So I'll bring some insights from field studies. And what are these field studies that we have done? The first study was a Boom Festival DMT study with guys from Imperial College. Yes, I got paid to go to Boom Festival. So this is Dr. Chris Timmerman with his beautiful design that he prepared for our study. Yes, it did say, can I scan your brain on DMT or other psychedelics for science? This study looked like people saw us, they spoke to us, or they signed up online, which most people didn't because there's not much reception, people didn't have phones. We recorded a baseline EEG, which baseline EEG at the Boom Festival after 4 days of intense workout and meditation and such. Then participants smoked their home product, and we recorded EEG throughout the experience. And afterwards, they filled out some questionnaires. The setup looked like almost as basic as this, with a little bit more electrodes. So this is a beautiful machines from Ant Neuro, and this is our team. We kind of just sat down, spoke about it, chose the shifts, and went on with it. We recorded 21 experience, and it looks something like this. We have the machines. We had our tent set up not far from the DJs. We had a little poster. And we were overlooking the lake. The sunset was in front of us. It was cool. Yeah. So that was the first study. The second study was 5-MeO-DMT. So that's another molecule I'm very much interested in. It comes out from somewhere here. From the glands behind, and this is a poison. This is a poison that's meant to repel animals. It contains other toxins and to attack the heart. And what is this poison actually doing? And maybe the frog figured out, if we make the coyote reconsider its choices and go vegan, maybe this is gonna save me. And we were looking into intramuscular administration versus vaporization. So again, naturalistic observational clients of a facilitator. So these people had a long-term relationship with the guy that they were going to. They were going through long-term therapy. It was very interesting. They were taking their treatment as usual. So with this guy in an underground, they were doing the repeating doses of 5-MeO-DMT. And supposedly, there's some sort of exchange. Barter money, we don't know. So this is the setup. Participants arrive. They have roughly 40 minutes chat in the room to habituate also our presence. Then is the experience itself. We set up, of course, all the machines, and then after the experience, we record some more EEGs and let them go. Yeah. So we have some more pictures. There's the PI or co-PI, Dr. Malin, a wonderful person, and the second co-PI we have over there in the corner, Dr. Jack Aloka, speaking later. We are also collecting blood pressure, some salivary samples. Well, I'm not going to talk about it today. Yeah, the setting was more or less like this. We were kind of hiding the technology behind, so it's not directly impacting the experience. But, you know, come on, look at it. Like, we have a strap on the chest to monitor the breathing. We have some electrodes on the heart. You can't see, well, you can see a little bit here. And we have, you know, 64 channels EEG electrodes on the head, on the scalp. So, what are some of these interesting insights from this? And this data has not been published yet, so this is more of a personal account. Take it. It's pretty much like a lab setting. There was not much difference. To my taking, like as we would do it in the lab, I think people were generally doing lower doses compared to clinical trials where everything's measured, everyone gets a standardized dose. Also, some people just couldn't hit it as hard. They had struggles, with, especially on the Boom Festival, if they brought their own equipment. You know, a huge variability in how much people actually received. And people also wanted to stay a little bit more in control, perhaps. So yeah, as already spoke with the large variability. But what we saw, I think people are a bit more connected with the experience. People are more chilled into it, you know, like the whole process of going to a mental health hospital or a clinic and receiving a treatment there, that is gonna change a lot, you know. The setting is completely different compared to if you're doing a journey into the Amazonas, or if you're going to a Boom Festival, or if you're, you know, having a long-term therapeutic relationship with your underground therapist. So here we have some questionnaires. So this is the 11 dimensions of the altered states, or subdimensions of the altered states of consciousness questionnaire. And did I put, yes, we have, the pink one is naturalistic, the green one is EEG, and the blue one is fMRI EEG study. It doesn't look that different. It's more or less the same, no? This is kind of, yeah, pretty much just like a lab setting. This is from the intramuscular 5-MeO-DMT. So again, we see that, you know, this would tell us that this is somehow moderate experience. But wait, if we go into the individual people, we see something huge, no? Some people almost no experience, and some people absolutely blasting it, having full breakthrough, all in, all out, going through the wormhole experience. So what do we have here? At the top, we're seeing the EEG, or this is something we call the topo maps, or this is the electrodes on the scalp. You have a nose on top, you have ears on the side. And what we're seeing is big degrees in alpha. This is something that we see across the clinical studies. Shift in alpha, we can discuss later what does it mean. Very interestingly, we also see increase in theta occipitally. This has been only observed, to my knowledge, in one study in Switzerland. But we also see a broadband increase in delta. And this broadband increase in delta, that is something that fascinates me. This is something that we're seeing in meditation. This is something that we're observing in some psychedelic studies, and definitely in the naturalistic psychedelic studies. What does it mean? We think if delta waves increase when you're falling asleep. Well, these people were definitely not sleeping. So what is happening? Delta waves are very slow oscillations. It's almost tangible. You can already imagine something like, you know, like, whoo, whoo, whoo. Like the brain becomes this big mushroom that is just integrating information across large areas of brain, perhaps. Yeah, we see that this increase in delta has been correlating with the emotional breakthrough experience, positive correlation. So the more the delta increased, the more likely people were having breakthrough. And this was stable across time points. So this is, I analyzed it across each time point. And, okay, I have 1 minute. Very fast. Does those correlates with positive psychological effects? Yes. Some people say, no, you need to prepare and open up to it more. No, generally, the more you take it, the more it gives you. But the dose did not correlate with psychological negative experiences. It's just fantastic to me. We can go higher and explore these deeper states without the fear of inducing, or what we've observed, without inducing the negative effects, anxiety, impaired control. Okay, 10 seconds. What was cool, that the EEG was not really intrusive. Like the people didn't mind us. We thought, oh, like each cable, that's such a worry. No, at one situation, person just tore off the EEG scalp. They threw us out of the room, and we thought, oh my God, we messed up so much. And later on, we heard from the person. They were on their complete personal journey. They did not perceive us at all. It was their story, and the environment was already in the journey. Didn't seem to matter so much. So that's cool. Didn't meet any entities. And I think we should start studying much more people together as a social entities. So that's the hyperscanning that we will be looking to in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have a very, very brief time for some questions. If anyone has some absolutely urgent questions, please feel free. Only. I do have a question. Just to add some content, I wanted to ask, how was it as a scientist? Because it's very different research from that presented of Dr. Winkler, where they had 2,000 people screened and then only eventually 40 got dosed. 43. How was it the feeling to work as a scientist with such a wide population, such an unpredictable thing? I'm sure you very much took it into account, but what did that look like of trying to standardize as many variables or trying to take this into account?
We didn't, basically. We just took it as it comes. We had First Nations from the Aboriginals. We had, people from over all ethnicities. Well, I think we share the same brain. That's my idea. So for me, as EEG, it was okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
I can repeat the question also if it's faster.
Did you have any control over the substance?
No. We tried to ask, for example, when we were with the 5-mode DMT, okay, how much did you put in? And he goes like, well, I don't know, 10, 13 milligrams. Okay, how do we work with this? 11 and a half, I guess. No, very hardly. And on the festival, not at all. Not at all. People brought some powder they just got from a guy, maybe, or...
Yeah. All right.
Hi, sorry, that was really interesting, thank you. Did you say something like you thought in general at the festival people had a lower dose and larger variability, yet across the board there was like more, they felt more connected to the experience? Could you comment more on that, please? Thanks.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what we're seeing by the increase in theta and delta waves, that this is this integration with the environment. They're much more in the feeling than... Yeah, they've been relaxed for a very long time. There's a DJ nearby. They have their friends around, and I think this makes a huge deal. So the dose is important, but the environment is even importanter, right? And I think this is what is happening. That what we're seeing with the increase in the slow oscillations is this integration with the environment. My hypothesis.
Okay, I've been told we have one last question. So maybe some not so urgent questions. Oh, well, we have a...
Is no entities met? Isn't that like a little too few entities for the amount of people that tried? Like maybe entities don't like EEGs?
It could be. But I remember one person, they're like, oh, there was an entity watching me. And I'm like, oh, was it us having all these sensors? They're like, no, definitely not you. That was an entity. But overall, people didn't report on entities much. And from my personal feeling of statistical and like people who had a lower dose, and they were more imagining what was happening, then we would speak more about the entities afterwards. But those who had a full blast, they came back, especially with the 5 Mayor, like, no, I've seen nothing, and I've been nothing.
Thank you very much. Let's give a warm applause for the very rapid and informative talk.